So
Mhm.
whether it's a makeup, whether it's a home product, whether it's a beauty product, whatever it is, like whatever you're promoting, whatever it is that you are selling as a direct seller, you need to show the value of that product.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the Modern Direct Seller podcast. I'm so happy you're here with us today. As today, we are taking a deep dive into social media. We're talking Instagram. I have the amazing Jenn Herman joining us. She is an author, a speaker, the number one ranked Instagram expert by ChatGPT. She is incredible and here to share with us all kinds of strategies to grow on Instagram. So, Jenn, welcome to the podcast. So happy you are here.
Yay, I'm excited. I love this.
I love it. Well, and you're local. You're in San Diego. I feel like we
I
should be meeting in person and doing this not on Zoom. But nonetheless, I'm excited to have another SoCal girl here that is just as passionate as I am when it comes to business and all the things. So tell us a little bit, just to get started, a quick story. How did your journey unfold? How did you become a social media expert?
So I'm one of those crazy life stories. I have a bachelor's in biology, I have a master's in forensic science, and I teach Instagram marketing. So, total normal trajectory. Like this was totally what I wanted to do with my life. So it was very much one of these. I worked at the time. I still have a full-time day job on top of what I do, and at the time I was working at my day job, taking over the marketing and various
Yep.
things. And it's a government contract company, aviation maintenance, the least social media type industry in the world. And it was really hard to get these very, conservative retired military executives to understand, opening up and sharing things on social media. They never shared anything. And so I had developed this process and gone through all these steps to get them on social media. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I can get these guys to understand social media, I'm like, I can get anybody to understand social media. And so I started this little blog almost 12 years ago now. And it was a hobby blog. I had no strategy, I had no business, I had no nothing. It was just blogging randomly about social media. And in the process, there was this little app called Instagram. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the app for what it was, for photos, for sharing, for community, for filters. Like it was so fun. And no one was blogging about it. No one was talking about it strategically. So I dove in and I was like, I'm all in on this. I did case studies. I did my scientific background kicked in. I was like, I'm going to study this. I'm going to test this. I'm going to come up with like process and I'm going to be like, hey, this worked. This didn't work. And I
Yeah.
started ranking number one on Google. And it was like, now everyone's like, well, she's the only person talking about Instagram. So I got the podcast invitations and I started speaking on stages. And I've now had the luxury of teaching Instagram for well over a decade. It's become my niche. It was not something I ever thought I would do, but I get to travel the world as a speaker. I get to educate people and organizations of everything from small business and entrepreneurs all the way up to massive global organizations and watch them find success on Instagram. And that's what brings me joy.
Oh my gosh, that is so fun. And fast forward a decade later, I mean, you still like Instagram and it looks a lot different as a platform today. I think all of us
So
can
different.
like flash. I remember like my first Instagram post, it had like the white like
Yes.
border
The
around
lo-fi.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, and it had like some filter and the quality of the photo was terrible because I don't even know
Oh,
if I could take it on my phone. I think I had to like take it on a digital camera and then upload it somewhere and then filter it. Like it was a piece of work, right? So here we are now, and I'm just going to jump right into strategy
yeah.
because I think we have so much to talk about. Reels are the it thing. We know that. And everyone is using Instagram and video to share their personal brand and to build their business. So I think one of the things I hear a lot from my community and direct sellers is I do these reels, I do all the things, but I'm not really seeing growth. I'm not really seeing new followers. I'm not seeing a direct correlation with my sales, but everyone tells me to keep on doing it. So I'm still doing it. What are you seeing? What is working best? Are there any tips on how to convert our followers into actual customers?
This is like a multi-prong answer. I love this question. So first, I'm going to preface this with yes,
Yeah.
Reels. Also, Reels account for 50% of time on the platform. 50%. That means there's a whole other 50% of the time that people are not on Reels. So
Yeah.
as much as we want to use Reels, they are not the end all be all. We are not going to go exclusively on Reels. I'm then going to tell you Reels are great for reach and exposure. They are top of funnel. These are
Hmm.
not where you're going to get conversions. Most brands get conversions more from stories number one, feed post number two,
Okay.
reels number three. Reels are not meant for conversions. They're meant for awareness, for connecting with new people, growing your audience. They serve a great purpose. You can get a lot of views, but like you said, not necessarily the transition onto website traffic or DMs or actual link clicks or things that you
Yeah.
want people to do. So while we want to do the reels, yes, just keep those things in mind. So with that, reels should be fun. Reels should be short. Reels should be, for the most part, if you want to reach new audiences, reels should be under 30 seconds. Most
Mhm.
reels over 30 seconds do not reach new audiences. So if your
Okay.
goal is to reach and grow, we want reels under 30 seconds. But if you've ever heard Adam Misery, the head of Instagram, he always says those longer reels are great for engagement. And they are with your existing audience. So
Right.
you're going to learn by the end of this podcast that I am not the queen of brevity. I cannot say anything in 90 seconds. So my reels tend to max out. But that's okay because they're serving my existing audience. And that's where
Hmm.
the conversions come in. That's where the conversations come in. So you have to keep that in mind when you're looking at your overall reels strategy.
I love that. And, it's interesting. Just in a mastermind the other day, we were looking at some of our analytics, and some of us love diving into those numbers. And some of us are like, oh, I'd rather not look at the
Yeah.
analytics and metrics. But, when you're looking at Reels, the majority of the people seeing it are non-followers. And so
Yes.
in that conversation, we were like, okay, how does that inform our content strategy? Should we be creating different types of content, knowing that most of the people seeing this don't yet follow us? So, what are your thoughts on that when it comes to the type of content that we're putting out there in the short form reels?
Yeah, like it's most of that is going to be non-followers. So it has to be the who are you, like get to know you, but not
Hmm.
in a way that is like the salesy, like, hey, I'm the best person at this. It's more showing your expertise. So
Hmm.
whether it's a makeup, whether it's a home product, whether it's a beauty product, whatever it is, like whatever you're promoting, whatever it is that you are selling as a direct seller, you need to show the value of that product. You need to
Hmm.
show, and that value can be the fun value, right? Like, oh my gosh, look at this purple lipstick. It's amazing. Like, that's all it has to be. You are showing them why that is cool and fun. They're going to want to go find more from you. It's not for you to come out and be like, I am the city's best leading seller of this product. That no one cares about that at that point. They care about it later, but when those reels are hitting the new people, it's going to be those quick, fun, witty, spunky personality shining. Like when we see those things go viral, right? Like the whole like very demure, right? Like when we had that
Right.
whole thing,
Yeah.
like so random, but it was like it was that split moment in time that became the thing.
Yep.
And that's what catches people's attention. So we want those moments where your personality shine. If you are like the super put together, always polished head to toe, great, be that. If you are like the super laid back surfer type, we're here in San Diego, right? We have like a lot of those super chill, be that. But make
Yeah.
sure that whatever it is that you're doing in those videos is letting people know about the product, about you in a way that is so authentically you that they want more of it. You're not just regurgitating the brand, you're not just throwing another, stock photo into a reel and calling it a reel. Like we want
Yeah.
those things. And keep this in mind when you're looking at these non-followers. The way Instagram works these days with all of these non-followers, they are what I call pseudo followers. So what happens
Mm.
is you're scrolling through Instagram and you get all this suggested content, right? So you see a post from somebody and you're like, "Oh, okay. and you watch it for like 4 seconds. Instagram's like, that's good. Bells are ringing. Like, we're going to show you that person's content again. So
Again.
the next
Yeah.
time you log on to Instagram, you see that same other person's content. You're not following them, but you see it again. And now you watch like 9 seconds and they're like, oh, we got her. She's ours, right? So what happens is you keep seeing more and more content from that creator, that person, that brand, even though
Mm,
you're not following them, to the point where you actually think you're following them because you've seen their content so many times. You now know this person, but you've never clicked the follow button. And
hmm.
so a lot of those non-followers in those reels are repeat views. They're the same non-follower over and over again that is seeing your content, but not actually following you. So those non-followers are kind of followers too. And so we want to
Right.
make sure that we aren't ignoring that when we're creating our content, that it's not just all crafted for non-followers, even though it looks like they're
Yeah.
non-followers.
Okay, this is making a lot of sense because and I totally resonate with that because there's certain people that I intentionally don't follow,
Right.
but I still keep seeing their things, right? And you're like, okay, there they are again. Okay, I'm really trying to. I
Right?
mean, for me, I feel like it's part of just like staying in my own lane. Like, I don't want to follow competitors. I don't want to follow people that are like,
Right.
but then they keep showing up, right?
Yes.
So, okay. All right, pseudo non-followers, learn something here. Love that. Let's talk about content ideas because
Yeah.
I think, especially in the direct selling world, right? Like nobody's a social media manager. Nobody said when they were going to grow up, they were going to, create a social media channel and create reels for a living. And many of them are working a full-time job or they're taking care of kids during the day. And this is a side gig. This is not their primary focus.
Yeah.
Yet they still want to show up. And so coming up with these like fun, witty, super compelling ideas that we see when we're scrolling reels can feel a
Yeah.
little challenging. So, what do you
Yes.
recommend for someone that's really struggling with what to post? Any go-to content ideas for them?
So first of all, it doesn't have to be complicated. It is
Yeah.
really easy to like step. You see these reels and like, it's the outfit of the day, right? And so like they come in and they hold up the shirt and then boom, they're wearing the shirt. And then boom, it comes off and they boom, they
Yeah.
got a jacket on and boom, they got a scarf. And it's like this boom, boom, boom. And it's like a
They flip their
15
shoe
seconds
and there's a
reel,
transition.
right? And it's like, but they're these 15-second videos and they take hours to
Yeah.
produce, right? Like they probably spend 4 hours crafting, planning, prepping the outfits, test running it, doing it on camera, editing the videos. Like these are massive undertakings, and you do not have this time in your life. If you do, please come work for me because I could use your time, right? Like we don't have time to create content for half of our day for a 15-second video that we don't know if it's even going to translate and
Yeah.
get sales, right? So
Nobody has
the
time for
key
that.
here, I am the queen of the one take. Like I am like maybe it's 3 takes, but you know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah.
not here to do super complicated things. You can be authentically you in a one take video. And
Mhm.
honestly, most of your audience will respect that more, right? Whether that's
Yeah.
a video, whether it's a story, whether whatever it is, because they see the real you, right? Like when the camera falls over and they see the floor and they're like, "Oh, her floor isn't as polished as her backdrop. Like she's real like me. She has dirty laundry in the corner." It's very humanizing, right? It's relatable. So don't feel like you have to be this super polished, over the top, massive production of your videos. Do your one takes. When it comes to your photos, edit accordingly. So use your good
Mhm.
old smartphone that we
Yeah.
super fancy these days, right? Like not like Instagram 11 years ago. Like these are better than any camera we used to have.
Right.
Use those, take the photos, but edit accordingly. We want everything to have a similar aesthetic where if you are typically, let's take you, Becky, you're here on camera, you've got this bright, beautiful white background, the kind of the muted, pastel pink tones goes very on brand with my
I
pastel
was
tone,
gonna say we look
right?
pretty good.
But I wouldn't turn around and put up something where I'm wearing a bright red dress. It
Yeah.
wouldn't be on brand. It would look awkward in my feed. So if your colors are these light, beautiful pastels, you stay on brand with your photos and your videos. If your colors are bright, bold, reds and blues and purples, great, go for it. But then don't go and post something where you're in like light pastels and white, airy backdrops. It doesn't translate. So edit accordingly with your content to keep it similar for your
Yeah.
audience because it builds trust. So whether you're
Right.
grabbing that video on the go, whether you're grabbing a photo on the go, think about what you want that whole aesthetic to look like without overthinking
I
it.
love that. Yeah. Well, and I think like it's okay if you're doing videos in like kind of the same spot or the same setup or the same kind of look
All
and
of mine are right
feel.
here. This pink wall
Yeah,
behind me, like 90% of my content is taken right here.
right here.
And that's because this is my space. I've got the light, I've got the
Yeah,
wall, it's all good. The great lighting in my bedroom, you got all my whole bedroom behind me. I don't want that on
yeah,
camera, right? Like it's okay but if you're the person who wants to do all your videos in the car, do your videos in the car. If you're sitting in
hmm,
carpool line, like waiting for your kid to get out of school, and that's when you have your 45 minutes to create content, girl, do it. Like,
yeah,
go nuts. Be the car person. It's totally okay. Whip out that lipstick or whip out that cloth or whip out that,
yeah.
home product, whatever it is. Like, just talk about it. Share
Hmm.
who you are. Be vulnerable. It's so easy to be like product, 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 product.
Yeah.
People don't buy the product, they buy what you are selling, right? You are the person behind it. They may love the product, but if they don't love you, they're going to find somebody else to buy the product from. So we
Yeah.
want you to shine through. We want your personality. We want your reality, whatever that looks like. You will attract the appropriate audience based on who you are as a person.
I love that you said that so much right there. Like that'll be the snippet that kicks off this podcast. I'm 100% sure of it because I think often, especially in direct sales, right? You're part of a larger entity, you're part of a larger company. And especially when you're first getting started, your company's coaching you to like use their stock
Yeah.
photos, use their images. And the more you're able to shine through with your personal brand, the better. I mean, I still to this day, I'm like, isn't it crazy that people buy like because they like you? Like I mean, that's
Yes.
like literally it though. They're buying
Yes.
that product. Yeah, they love the product, but they really like you. It's you that you're selling. And sometimes that's weird for us, especially if that's new or different. And we're
Yes.
thinking like, we're just like the normal mom that's going through the
Right? Who wants
carpool
to listen
lane
to
and I
me?
put my lipstick. Yeah, like who wants to pay attention to that? But that's what they want to see is you. And I think the more that you can shine through and show that in your content, the more people are attracted to you, want to learn about your brand, learn about your business, learn about your products. But it takes
And
a
they
little bit of
care
a
about
mindset
you.
shift to get there.
Like they want to know about your kids,
Yeah.
right? They want to know about your house. They want to know about your husband or your spouse or whatever it is. Like they want to know what's going on because they get invested in you. And one of the fun facts about Instagram is that direct messages are
Hmm.
a key indicator for algorithmic success. So, Becky, if you
Mm.
message me on Instagram and I
Yep.
message you back, we've now had a conversation, right? It's not a one way. I've messaged you back. It's a conversation.
Yeah.
Instagram goes, oh, well, you must care about each other. So now my
Mhm.
content's going to rank higher in your feed because you and I had a personal relationship through direct messages. And that relationship building through being authentic and showing your personality on social media, on Instagram specifically, it's going to build those direct messages, right? It's going to have people
Right.
messaging you being like, oh my gosh, I just saw your post. You have no idea. I just did the exact same thing last night with my kid. Or, oh my gosh, I got the new product. I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know how to use this. Is there a quick tip on this? Like, whatever it is that they're messaging you, every
Hmm.
time they do that, your content is building in priority for that
Oh,
audience, which means more engagement, more shares, more conversations, more sales, right? So
right.
like it all ties in, but if you're not being you, if you're just regurgitating the stock photos and the same marketing lingo that everybody else under that organization is sharing,
Yeah.
why would they DM you? Right? We
Right.
need you to shine through.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I love this so much. And I want to hit on a couple more questions before we
Yes.
wrap up. So I'm just going to I'm like rapid fire over here. Let's talk hashtags, right?
Yes.
Hashtags were known as a way to get discovered or people to find you. Are they still relevant or are we moving to keywords? Like, give us the skinny on that.
Yes and yes.
Okay.
So here's the thing, what people don't understand is that keyword search is dominant, right? Like we know that,
Mhm.
but hashtags are one of the predominant indicators for keyword search. So
Okay.
what happened is we're all like, oh, it's keyword search. I'm going to stop using hashtags. But if you're not using the hashtags, Instagram has to work harder to figure out what your content is about and to rank it accordingly. So there's three things Instagram will look at for keyword search: your profile description, what's in your profile
Hmm.
bio, what is in the individual post caption for that individual post, and what are the hashtags on that post. So if your post is specifically about that keyword that someone's looking for, you don't need as many hashtags because you're specifically referencing similar words and phrases, and the AI knows that's what it's about.
Got it.
But there's all these other things that are industry related, target audience related, geographically related, whatever it is that aren't in those words. And that's where you
Yeah.
want those things in the hashtags. Also, when it comes to reels, a lot of the time you have a great reel, short caption. No
Mhm.
caption, no keywords, right? Like if you've only got a
Mm.
sentence, you don't have a lot of description for the AI to pull. You need the hashtags to tell the AI what that post is about so it ranks in the appropriate keyword search. So yes, hashtags still matter 100%. I have been teaching hashtags for more years than I can count. I'm so like I never get asked about hashtags again. I'd be happy, but they're still relevant. And so I do want to recommend if the audience wants to go to my website, jenstrends.com, and go to the books. I have an
Yeah.
ebook. It's literally called Hashtags Unlocked, and it's going to answer every question you've ever had about hashtags, from myths to the future possibilities of hashtags, how to pick the right hashtags for you. There's even a worksheet in there, and
I
it'll
love
walk
that.
you through all the things you need to do and the super secret recipe that I tell everybody that is proven for success over and over and over and over again for the last like 9 years. So
Perfect.
it's a resource to make sure you're doing it right because yes, you still need to be using those hashtags.
Okay. I think that's super helpful because you hear different things, right? You're scrolling and
Well,
people
even
are like, don't use
Instagram,
hashtags,
like
use this, do this, don't do
yeah,
that, right?
Instagram
Um,
came out a few months ago and said only use 5 hashtags. I was like, no, it's like,
yeah.
don't listen to them. Don't trust me. I have proof. I have
Perfect.
screenshots. I will bring the receipts.
Okay, we will make sure to link to that in the show notes so anyone can grab a copy and check out that ebook. Let's talk just a little bit future casting here, right?
Yeah.
Like we're rolling right into 2025, and as we've said, Instagram has evolved dramatically over the last few years, even. Video is king, Reels, there's all kinds of changes and updates that are happening. Any trends you think that we should be really prepared for going into the new year as we're crafting our 2025 strategy?
So, I mean, I think one of the things is always authenticity. Like, I'm so tired of using that word. It's such a buzzkill at this point, but it's so true, right? Like, I
Yeah.
think it's something that we've had this post-pandemic shift, and it's still really is about the authenticity, showing who you are. But when I say authenticity, I mean like it's more than that. Like one of the things that I'm so over and I feel like everyone's kind of getting over is like the awkward B-roll type reels. So remember like people would film like all these videos of them like cooking dinner or like
Yeah.
ironing or putting away laundry or whatever.
Pouring their
And then they
coffee.
would put
Mhm.
like all the text over a laundry video about how to optimize your website. And I'm like, "What? These
Yeah.
don't correlate, right?" Like, so it was these weird B-roll was like a total trend. I am seeing that
Yeah.
go away. I am praying that goes
Okay.
away. You can
Okay.
still do the B-roll, but like if your B-roll is your feet walking, the video should be something about getting healthy exercise, right? Like it
Yeah.
has to
Some
somewhat be,
correlation.
yeah, not
Okay.
totally unrelated. So I think that's again moving back to the authenticity of like showing up intentionally, not just
Yeah.
filming 30 minutes of little clips and then just throwing text on them to do it, but to like actually put the intention in and be like, no, like I'm going to film a video of me unpacking all my product. That's
Right.
B-roll footage. Put your information over that. So I'm seeing that as a big shift, especially for Reels across all the platforms, TikTok and everything as well. So if you've been doing those, let's try to move away from that and be more intentional.
I love that trend. Okay, perfect. Noted. Just for fun, what's your favorite office supply?
Oh my gosh, I am like so the office supply, like just like absorb it all, right? Like I just want to go to like Staples or whatever and just like peruse
Walk
all
the
the
aisles.
aisles. I pens. I just love pens. I love all like the glittery pens and all the sparkles and the colors and all the
Yep,
highlighters and the colored pens. It's I could literally have a whole box of pens.
I love it. I have whole boxes of pens, so I'm right there with you.
Perfect.
Well, tell us, Jen, where can we connect with you? Obviously on Instagram. Where can we learn more about what you offer, how to work with you? Tell us how to get in touch.
Yeah, so the easiest thing is my website, jenstrends.com. It's Jen with two N's, so Jenns, trends.com. You go there, you can find anything and everything, connections to all my social media, all my books that I have published. I've written multiple Instagram for Dummies books. So if you want to get started on that, all those books are linked there as resources, all my blogs, resources, and then obviously how to work with me. And please follow me on my Instagram account at JENNS_trends. I share a ton of tips and tutorials that I only share on Instagram. I don't put them on LinkedIn. I don't put them on Facebook. I do link to them usually in my newsletter, which goes out the first Wednesday of every month. So if you want to stay on top of all things related to
Yeah.
Instagram, that newsletter only goes out once a month because that's all the time I have in life. I can't do any more than that, so I'm not going to flood your inbox. But if you go to my website or my Instagram link in bio, you can sign up for that newsletter, and it is an amazing resource for all things Instagram and social media.
Oh, so good. I'm doing that right after this episode. This was incredible. Thank you for pouring into our community today and sharing all of these tips and strategies. I am confident that all of our listeners are walking away with ideas that they can put into action right away, not even waiting until 2025, things that they can do
Yeah.
right here, right now to really improve their presence on Instagram and convert more of those maybe non-followers, pseudo-followers into
Yes.
real followers, real customers. That is the goal there. So thank you again, Jenn, for being here. You are incredible. And I wish you a happy holiday season.
Thank you. You too. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Happy success in 2025.
Thank you. We are proud to welcome CinchShare as the newest sponsor of the Modern Direct Seller podcast. CinchShare is the #1 most trusted social media platform for network marketers, direct sellers, affiliates, independent consultants, virtual assistants, small businesses, and creators in any industry. Start your 30-day trial today with coupon code GAMECHANGER and spend less time posting and more time socializing.